Ben, what a remarkable woman. What a remarkable woman she is.
Absolutely, totally remarkable. So yes, Melinda, that is you know not giving up on that continued learning in terms of your age and everything like that and what you're doing for your daughter. So absolutely shout out to you, first class effort. And thank you very much for the kind words about what Bryce and I are here to do. This is our meaning. This is our purpose. This is what we're here for in terms of trying to educate people around money, finance, and property. And so you are right. We have actually done an episode on this, episode 116, all the way back when we were tackling the whole idea about, what should I do with, basically allowances or pocket money or whatever. And from a financial point of view, it does make sense to actually pool your money into the offset, because the offset we know is interest saving, not interest earning. So we don't have any tax payable on it. And it's obviously still a higher debt than the interest that we earn through an interest savings account. So I've got a beautiful little spreadsheet that we want to share with you. It's what we shared back in 2016. So we've built a spreadsheet exactly for this, where if you keep all the money, the household money in the offset account, which is benefiting the household, and it will benefit your daughter medium to longer term if that house is debt free for you. And ultimately, there will be some inheritances or legacy that comes off the back of that. But by way of example, what we do is you will set up a tracking, and you'll put the money in, and then any money that comes out. And then you've also then got a cash projection story over that. So that'll adjust for the interest that you decide to provide for your daughter. So in my case, for Jack and Harry, I use 6% as the interest that they earn, and they get a $15 a week allowance. And like yourself, they get money from their grandparents, they get money for birthdays and Christmas as well. And so we then just adjust for that. So I just use that money, pull all of that money, and then just run those spreadsheets for the boys. And it's so simple. It is so easy to do. And we've made the spreadsheet so easy to set up. So in the show description, you can click on the downloadable, and then you can set that up for you and your daughter. And that will then just track that going forward. And so to anyone else out there who's thinking of the same thing, that's the logic. Now, Bryce, there's obviously a behavioural thing that they might be missing out on here. So that's the other thing we want to talk to in terms of, that's why the projection and the impact on sort of saying, what if I spend that money, and you can then see what interest impact that's going to have. That's the behavioural stuff for us, because remember, money makes money. The compounding nature of money and interest on interest on interest, etc., is the power that we're trying to teach our children. So when we make decisions about wants and needs, we want them to sleep on those types of decisions. So they're not necessarily getting into this, consumer culture that we see out there, where they need to have the brands, and the best example of all is putting a white t-shirt next to a white t-shirt that has a Nike swoosh on it. The Nike swoosh t-shirt's $49.95. The simple white t-shirt from I don't know, what's the guys who make the t-shirts these days down in Geelong?
Cotton On.
Cotton On, $12.95. Right, potentially the main t-shirt, but someone's put a screen print of a swoosh on the other one and put a Nike label on it, and all of a sudden it's worth 3 times or 4 times as much. So that's the consumer culture. That's the power of branding. And we want to be associated with that brand. So I get all of those types of things. But if we can teach our kids that the t-shirts does exactly the same thing in terms of, it doesn't reduce the amount of sweat or whatever, it keeps us warm, it does the same basic functionality, that's where you can potentially make those significant savings, which over time will be really meaningful from a behavioural point of view, and then ultimately how much financial well-being your daughter and yourself is going to have.
Yeah, what a great question, Melinda. And I think in summary, if they're earning 4.75% interest on the money that then is taxable in your name, you find you can actually make it a win-win, where you pay your daughter a little bit more than what she would have got in the high interest earning savings account, but it's still cheaper than the mortgage rate that you're paying. So it's a win for you, it's a win for your daughter, And it's also a double win, given that you don't have to actually pay tax out of the income that you're getting on it as well. So on paper, it makes sense. But here's where I think it starts, just with the conversation with your daughter, first and foremost. To say, does she agree or does she not agree, right? Because I'm one of the blessed people that has found a life partner that I'm still in a relationship with, and my wife and I love doing life together, right? So we're blessed, right? But so therefore, I do not know what it's like to be a single parent. So what I'm about to say is a theory; it's not an experience, right? But my observation is this: for single parents, it's you're in it together. You and your children are in it together to navigate a situation where society says that you're at a disadvantage. You're at a gender pay gap disadvantage. You are at a superannuation disadvantage if your income is not as high, or if you've had to take time out to raise your children. And then there's also a one income gap disadvantage that you have, right? So compared to households that have two parents or two incomes, or a combination that puts them in a more stronger foundation. So with that in mind, it would feel like it's a joint game that you and your daughter need to play. So by getting the buy-in and seeing what that looks like, and to Ben's point, using the spreadsheet that I thoroughly recommend, you can still do all of the benefits of saving, because $14,500 is nothing to sneeze at. That is a significant amount of savings, which will also make an impact on your mortgage. To your point, at 130,000, which some people could say, geez, that's not much, and other people could say, wow, when it's you as 53 trying to do this on your own, that is a significant amount, which I agree with. So I think it all starts with buy-in, reminding your daughter that we're on a journey, and that journey is to get some security for you, which you've talked about here, which would help you, which means that then down the track, as she goes from 10 to 13 to 17, there's decisions and trade-offs, to Ben's point about the t-shirt, about the types of clothes and the car you want to drive and the opportunities that you get. So I think mathematically it makes total sense to bring it back into your offset account, right? But on the real life sense, I think by getting that buy-in and getting that journey with your daughter and reminding her we're in this together, and this is why, and this is how I think it can impact us, and we can see this, and we can use it as a learning opportunity, which would give you the best chance in your circumstances of being a single parent, to help you the most, Melinda. But as I said, I haven't experienced being a single parent, so everything I'm talking about is a theory. It's just the observations that I've seen through many years in practice and watching other people in my world who are single parents. And I think that would probably be a really, really great place for you to start on that. But I think overall your thinking is in the right page. I think you already knew the answer to your question anyway. And I think you're just getting confirmation here. But hopefully that helps. And let us know how you went with your daughter, and if you had that conversation, if she was happy to buy in and help you with that. Because I reckon not only is that going to help your household, I think it's going to help some other households who might be listening to this, because there's single dads as well as single mums out here, but overwhelmingly the majority of single mums are doing it harder than most people, given a couple of those gaps we talked about before. But good question, Ben.
Yeah, I think if your kids are in sort of the young teenage years, this is conversations around the dinner table around money, right? This is when we're forming some of those habits. So to Bryce's point, I love that we're just having that conversation first, right? And then understanding the benefits that all of us are going to get. So, if Melinda's daughter knows that she's going to get a little bit more interest on her money, but knows that she's helping out mum and helping them out together, and she can see that, make the invisible visible by using the spreadsheet, and you can sort of future pace some of those payments so you can see the interest. So I think all of those things. Now,